Today we are reading Sunday emails from a chairman. He's spent over 2 decades in public service. He's helmed the government stat board dealing with national industrial standards, helped build military airports, and headed a publicly listed construction and tech group. But perhaps he's best known for steering an icon we all know and love, Changi Airport, which he helped build from the ground up. I'm Michelle Martin speaking today with Liew Mun Leong, chairman of the Changi Airport Group and chairman of Surbana Jurong Group, about his newly released 20th anniversary edition of his compilation of emails. This CEO you see on Sunday mornings writes emails, not just any old emails. It takes 6 hours, up to 6 hours to craft one. Liew Mun Leong has been writing his Sunday emails, though, for 20 years. My goodness. Hence the new 20th anniversary edition of the book, which features wide-ranging emails speaking to staff on work balance, culture, his 5 Ps, being paranoid, perfectionism, perseverance, and pragmatism. I hope we'll have time to go through some of them. But first up, time to welcome Chairman of Changi Airport Group and Surbana Jurong and author of Sunday Emails from a Chairman. How are you, Mr. Liew Mun Leong?
Fine, thank you very much.
So, what does this book offer readers that's different from the last edition? This is your 5th volume.
Well, this is the 5th volume, and whilst the theme and approach is to select subjects which we encounter every day, it will vary according to what I encounter. If I write about China, next year I'll be writing about India or Vietnam or something. But it can also be about different topics ranging from leadership, management, or to very technical subject like the last one on airports, systems. So it depends on what confronts me as an interesting topic to write on.
So, building people seems to be a quote that was quite predominantly highlighted in this book. Was that foremost on your mind?
Yes, it's all about building people so that they can deliver the services that we want. But it also means how the topics is about building the reader. The reader themselves is being built. In other words, if I talk about work-life balance or moral values or culture, it is a topic that helps build them, I hope.
So when you craft these emails, they're originally crafted for your staff?
No, I craft my staff, but they are right now we have 15,000 people in my organization, both Changi Airport and Surbana Jurong. But I bear in mind that the public will read it.
Right. So you keep your reading audience in mind, and you hope to build all the readers up then.
Well, I hope that they can get some message about whatever that I'm trying to preach, in inverted commas.
Well, is it a joyful or painful process of crafting these emails?
Well, to be frank, it is now my hobby. It's no longer work, which is why I pick Sunday to do it as part of my Sunday hobbies.
I like that. I wonder if you can walk us through perhaps one of your latest emails. I believe it was written 2018, the one on willful blindness. Interesting topic, especially for companies.
Yeah, it is not so obvious that all of us will have some form of willful blindness. I mean, it's a natural disease of human beings. For example, we all will have willful blindness for our friends, our spouse, or our partners. So, but it's not recognized as willful blindness. You are blind, but you do not know that it's willful. So you might be in a blind corner as to why you are doing something to somebody. Mm-hmm. It's a very powerful understanding of why people do things and why certain things cannot be explained by certain action and reaction.
Well, it seems almost, neurological that we can't see our own blind spots.
That's why I call it a natural disease. Although I did not mention it in the book.
Oh, well, thanks for taking us beyond the page. Yeah. So what do you want people to reflect on when it comes to that topic of, your own blind spots?
Well, hopefully you can recognize that it is your weakness, and hopefully you can spot who are your willful blindness, so you can avoid the mistakes of treating him or her differently. And people can understand that you are now having a willful blindness on somebody.
Okay. In the book's introduction, you write, a corporate leader would do well if he is in touch with his troops regularly on what's happening in the company, how the business is doing, the industry's landscape, and the competition and challenges that a company faces. You say you have 15,000 employees. Is it still possible for a leader to be able to have that sort of connection with his troops?
It is. In fact, that's the very reason why Sunday email is written through email. Because we can talk to our colleagues in the office, we can conduct town hall meeting, maybe in Singapore where you have a few hundreds people. But if you write a Sunday email through the computer, with a touch on the button, you send what you want to say to 15,000 people simultaneously, and there's no office hour. So it might be, we have people in 40 countries, so they might have a different time frame.
But being in touch with your troops also means you listen to them. So it's not just one way of sending an email.
They do respond. Some of them do respond to. It's not a blog. I didn't want to do a blog. But I think blogging wastes a lot of time. But they do respond to me, and I always respond to them immediately.
Oh, that's great to know. So you spend a lot of time on email.
Well, Sundays.
Liew Mun Leong is my guest. He's the author of Sunday Emails from a Chairman. I mean, he's a man whose emails this book is built on. You were once project manager, and then you rose to, the apex of corporate leadership in Singapore as chairman of boards. What do you want to say to other project managers out there in building and construction who want to climb the corporate ladder?
Well, this is exactly the point. I often tell them, once upon a time, I was you. So you can be an engineer, you can be a project manager, but you can climb up the corporate ladder to be senior vice president, president, and even chairman. So hopefully the inspiration is that whether you are engineer, project manager, or anybody, we do have a corporate ladder for you.
So in terms of what people personally have to apply, when you think back to your own corporate journey, what would you say were the determinants for your ability to climb the ladder?
Don't be impatient. Learn your job thoroughly. Make sure you know how to do thoroughly before you want to move out. The young people nowadays, every 3 years, they want to move on.
Yes.
I think that's something that I discourage. You've got to learn the job, maintain your breadth and depth in that position before you move on.
So you're for specialization and really learning your craft.
Right.
Really interesting. Coming up, we're going to find out what Liew Mun Leong's thoughts are about Changi Airport staying competitive. Stay with us here on Read. Back with Read. And today our book in focus is Sunday Emails from a Chairman. And the man whose emails that this book is all about is right here, Liew Mun Leong. Among your many hats, you're chairman of the Changi Airport Group. And we know that this is such an icon for Singaporeans. So I need to find out your thoughts on Terminal 5. So Terminal 5 set to be completed by the end of 2030. You were there when Changi Airport was being built from scratch. You saw it sort of emerge, ground up. What do you think are some of the main areas that have changed in building and developing an airport?
Well, I think there's one fundamental, very important thing to bear in mind, and that is we must always build ahead of demand. Economics theory says that the demand drives supply, but we say, this is the contrarian view. Usually, we say we now supply by demand, because you can't wait for the airport to be crowded then start building. So one fundamental principle is we build ahead of demand. And secondly, we build the most advanced technology, all the facility that is needed to make passengers comfortable. The passengers must have comfortable experience, and which is why we have shopping, we have entertainment, we have dining, and we have a swimming pool, we have a butterfly garden. So these are to make passengers comfortable. The third last thing very important is it's not the hardware we build alone. It's a software, it's a peopleware. You got to get our colleagues to really serve the passengers.
So it sounds like it's always been about putting the passenger at the center of any development of Changi.
Yeah, which is very difficult because passengers are not normal transit.
Not the way they were in the 70s when you were building Changi.
Now you need entertainment. They are bored. They want fast transit. They want the bags to be out fast. So It's a very complex infrastructure to beat.
Okay, speaking of transit, so as of December 1st, more than 100 airlines are operating out of Changi Airport. India led Changi's top 10 markets, growing by 14%. And other countries with significant traffic growth included Germany, 30%, the US, 22%, and New Zealand, 17%. So these are countries on a long-haul flight. How do you make Changi an attractive transit airport, especially for these long-haul flights?
Well, one key thing is that we must make the transit experience good. So make sure that your baggage are loaded.
Oh, yes.
Make sure that is in transfer airline. But make sure that the transit time itself is pleasant, which is why we provide a lot of shopping facilities, a lot of entertainment facilities. And I think make sure that the transit is not complicating to get to. There's no point, some airports you get down somewhere and you end up somewhere. And you go through immigration again to get back again. So we make sure our transit passengers have the very good experience.
Just terrific. Now, among your many hats, also chairman of the Surbana Jurong. And I wonder if you can tell us a little about what has really captured our imaginations. And that is Surbana Jurong venturing underground with the Jurong rock caverns, 150 meters below sea level. What opportunities lie ahead for this?
Well, that is a project that we are very, very pleased with. We have built this chamber that store oil, 150 meters below sea level. You literally go down a very long way before you reach the chamber. And that has been very successful because we are building more now. What we found is that we can build things underground for Singapore, which is a small island with very little space. We have 750 square kilometers, and the space underground will be very precious. If it's an island, you cannot expand anymore. We can reclaim, but up to a certain extent, you stop reclaiming. You cannot go up. You have to go underground. So it is a very, very high potential for us to develop our city underground. And it happens that 2/3 of our island is on granite. And our granite is the third hardest in the world. So it's perfect for us to talk about building underground, whether it's for oil storage or for library or even for sports or for whatever. We can build underground hospital.
So that's the next area of development, underground.
It is something that the government of Singapore is very, very keen to pursue.
Now, in this book, you talk a little about your experience as a business person with China. And I want to ask if you can share a little about the Belt and Road initiatives and what opportunities they present for Surbana.
Well, I always think that the Belt and Road initiative is a program that lifts up the whole potential of the global growth. Because if trading is affected, as what we are experiencing now, trade war, then one of the drivers of economic growth is actually infrastructure, urbanization. And the China PRI, they call it, come at the right time, where we cover something like 70 countries. And all these will require basic infrastructure development. But it is not so much as business for us in Surbana Jurong, but it's really lifting up the economic potential of all these 70 countries. And if the economic potential are lifted up, it will be good for us in Singapore.
Liew Mun Leong has the 20th anniversary of Volume 5 of his Sunday Emails, a compilation of his Sunday emails. The title of the book we're reading today, Sunday Emails from a Chairman. What do you think business leaders should know about working with China?
Well, they all know that China is a big market, 1.3 billion people. It is a developing market. Therefore, everything you do right can multiply by 1.3 billion times if you can do it right. But it is, at the same time, a very complex and competitive market. It's not just competitive, but competitive. Meaning, whatever you do, your rival from Chinese company will really compete with you. So you've got to make sure that you stay as competitive as they are in terms of promoting your product and getting your product right. Then there are questions of local partners, how you could work with local partner, localization, for example. You've got to localize your operation. There are many things to talk about what you can do and cannot do in China.
Yeah, you include an address that you gave to Yale and
I have
US.
one chapter on that.
Yeah.
That talks about paying tuition fees when you learn from the partners the mistakes that you got to make.
I like that. And you also say, I go there and I say, I'm not a Laopan.
Yeah.
I am an employee.
Make sure that, because no matter what you say, China is still socialist. It's a capitalist, socialist country. So you may not do well with your staff when you behave like a Laoban.
Ah, okay.
No, I tell people I'm not a Laoban. I'm also an employee.
Yeah.
Like you and I.
And that puts people at ease
Yeah, they
that
like
you deal with?
Like that. And I really dine with them, eat with them, really socialize with them. And that's an important part of a leader in China.
Well, speaking of socializing, you spend your Sundays writing emails. You're apparently very, very busy. You're 72 years old. What do you think of when the word retirement is mentioned?
Never exists in my vocabulary. To my mind, retirement is a concept that should be completely phased out. Because I cannot imagine somebody who has been educated in the country, do business for 40 years, and he reached 65, he dropped down from the cave doing nothing. So I think it's a complete waste of our investment in the individual with human capital. Insofar as he can work, he's physically fit, he's mentally fit, we should allow him to still share his capability with society.
It's a really inspirational book, filled with just about every important topic to think about and reflect through life. Are you planning your Sunday email for this week?
I'm writing Sunday email every week.
Still,
every
can you give
week
us some
I
heads
can,
up?
but not every week. Okay,
not
I
every
correct
week.
myself.
Okay,
but only on Sunday.
Can you give us heads up on a future topic?
Well, I write on business also. So recently, for example, I visited Istanbul. Mm-hmm. They built a very big airport. I intend to write about what I observed there.
Oh, wow.
But it's not just about Istanbul airport, but it's about me knowing the Turks.
Right.
And understanding I start to know that what I know about the Turks are different from what in reality they are.
Yeah, it's great. So,
it changed my whole opinion about Turkey.
Oh, you had a different opinion before you visited?
I always thought the Turks are very, they look fearful to us, right? And we always think they are from countries that are very aggressive, Ottoman Empire. Mm-hmm. But actually, when you go there, they are very friendly folks. And they're very friendly folks. And the city is clean. I mean, I'm amazed, there's no graffiti. There's no littering. And you can walk on the crowd and you don't feel fearful. No policemen. But if you walk in some town, if I can be excused, American city, you don't feel as safe as I walk in Istanbul.
Interesting observations. And actually, that's what makes this book so enjoyable. You bring so much of your own perspective to every single page. So thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
And sharing your thoughts with us. That's Liew Mun Leong. He's a man behind Sunday Emails from a Chairman. The book is now available. It's a 20th anniversary edition of Volume 5. Mr. Liew, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Money FM 89.3